All right, welcome back. So today I have my Outcast 8S on the bench. This is a true Coke can motor. Setup, and we're going to take it out today and give it a rip. I haven't run it in a while, and what I've noticed, and I'm going to let you guys take a look at this. You see how we're missing body clips? This one was never missing body clips. These were laying on the bench where it was sitting. Now, I didn't have these locked into the body. I just set the bodies on it on my shelves. And so I started checking all my ARRMAs. And I've noticed this one's missing now. You can see this is about to snap. These are snapping right here. So as you see, all of this stuff is just falling apart. This wasn't missing any. You can see these straps are literally deteriorating while sitting on the shelf. I've seen tires do it over years, but never this quickly. This one, just from sitting, is missing one. The clip itself fell off. So I don't even know what to take of this. These things literally are snapping on their own, just sitting there. So randomly on the shelf, if these things are hanging, they literally just fall down and fall behind my shelving. So I'm missing a bunch of these body retaining clips, and I'm gonna need to buy a bunch of them, apparently. Just found one on the floor from picking up the body right now. But I'm gonna go through. I have to change out my ESC wiring. These have XT90s in it, and I've been going to these QS8s. So I'm gonna put a couple of those on here. This has got a Max 5 in it with a 2028 Coke can motor. Not censored because I don't believe in censoring bashers. But I need to look over this RC. This RC was good before I put it on the shelf. And I'm noticing that everything on this is starting to dry rot. So the biggest thing I gotta check are these front pivot balls. So we're gonna pop the front wheels so that we can check out the pivot balls and make sure that the pivot balls aren't coming out. Because they do come loose, and when you're running, you'll lose it and then the wheel will fall off. So I'm gonna pop the wheels, check the pivot balls, make sure that they're still tight. I do put a dab of glue on the pivot ball pieces because I can always snap off the glue. It's just a little touch to stop it from backing off. I've tried several different ways to keep these on, and none of them seem to work. Over time, the O-rings dry rot, kind of like the body clips are dry rotting. And if you're not using the RC all the time, like I have a bunch of them, you end up grabbing it off the shelf, going to run it, and then all this rubber stuff is just deteriorated. So if that's something you want to see, we're going to get into this and give this thing a rip. So stay tuned. All right, so I got some connectors out so that we can go ahead and get this stuff changed out. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off some wheels just on the front so that I can check the pivot balls. That seems to be the weak link. Now, I did clean these up and put them on the shelf before I stored them, and they're stored on top of tires so that the tires aren't on the ground. But that's something I wanted to show. I've been showing my X-Max, 8 years old, and my 5-year-old X-Max. And one thing about the Traxxas products that I've noticed over years of owning, whether it's this, look at that, coming unglued. Whether it's a Traxxas or an ARRMA, the ARRMAs seem to have all these intricate little things that that tend to rot while it's sitting on the shelf. So when you go to run the RC, it 100% starts basically falling apart. So long term, trying to own an RC and collect it, like I have been with the Outcast and the Creighton. I tend to buy RCs I like, and I definitely love the style of the Outcast, and I loved running the Outcast when it was new. But now we're coming up on 2 years old, I think, is where I'm at. I'm just using some alcohol to clean off some of the stuff I used when storing this RC. I'm trying to glue the spots on the tires that are showing damage, like they're gonna come apart, because I have a feeling running both these RC cars, I am going to be running two. This is the regular Outcast 8S before the EXB rollers were available. So this is an RTR version of the Outcast. Then they came out with the EXB version of this, and I have both models. So we're going to run both models. As you see, I got Teflon tape on these already. The other side seems like it's coming loose, but I need to solder these connectors, so I'm going to try to lower it to the ground. And I think that's where I keep talking about quality control when it comes to ARRMA, and now I'm coming up on longevity when it comes to ARRMA. I bought these on release date, the EXB roller and this Outcast. I don't know when the release date was, but I'll look it up for you guys so we know how old this RC is. And it's not like everything on this RC is new. I want to say this RC's only been sitting for maybe 3 months now, and I made sure that they were in good working order before I put them away. But as you guys can tell, they're already having issues. So I'm going to cut the red off. And we're going to cut this black off. Now, these XT90 covers were starting to come loose, so I taped them. So I'm just cutting them right over there, and I'm going to leave this like this. And we're going to go ahead and change out the wires. Probably do red. I like to cut these perfectly in half so that I get 2 uses out of them. So I can do 2 RC cars. So I'm just trying to show every part of what it takes to maintain a fleet of over, 140 RC cars. I have slowed down on purchasing stuff because I've noticed that a lot of the products that I've been buying from ARRMA are falling apart, honestly. So round part is negative, flat is positive. So I'm going to solder this onto here. We're doing this in series. All right, got them soldered on. The flat side goes to the positive off your ESC. The black goes to the round side. And then it's positive to negative. And we're in series. So that's how you double check it. Waiting for the batteries to charge up, so I know this side is good. You can see I added a bunch of washers there, and it is coming loose. So, all right, it's huge. So we got to screw that in so it's tight. That was coming loose. So was that one. And this is why we double check everything. So that's this one. The time it takes to prepare RCs to run. This is what hobby grade's all about. Is wrenching, but you also have to make sure, just because you think everything's okay doesn't mean it is okay. If you guys know me in this Outcast, it's one of my favorite ARRMAs. That one's tight. I added washers there to get the alignment right. All right. The bottom one is loose. Look how loose that is. So, what I found is that if it turns okay, I use a little bit of alcohol. We're going to put a touch of glue so that they don't back off. And I got to do this twice. So I do it at the bottom. Just a touch. That way it doesn't roll around the threads. And then I'm going to hit it with the Insta-Set. That way it's easy to break off. that way my adjustment doesn't come out of adjustment, if that makes sense. I'm going to bolt up this tire now and check the rear, make sure all the tires are tight. Next thing I'm going to check is my pinion to make sure it's not backing off. Nope, we are tight. And that's it. Let's throw some batteries in it. All right. Now, I'm one of the few that like the Traxxas support system to where I can just click in the batteries. It really makes things convenient versus doing these straps. Now the straps are more universal when it comes to there's our other battery. Let me grab it. Like I was saying, the straps are more universal, but I like the ease of the Traxxas supports for the batteries. Click it and go. Once you buy the right batteries, the batteries that fit, you're okay. And I find that these straps over time, they go bad. To where they deteriorate like the O-rings do. So I've taken them out before from sitting on the shelf and go to tighten the battery strap, and it just breaks off. See, I gotta tuck those way down the side to get them to lock in. Now we're gonna grab the remote. Alright, so I got it plugged in. I got the two controllers. Oh, no, stop. I think it's one of these two. So it's this one, and not this one. So I have them marked, but sometimes I get out look how loose that diff is. These two wheels are not turning. So these diffs are empty, which sucks. They must have leaked. Look at that. Everything else is working. So the center, front and rear center, or not center diff, front and rear differentials are probably dry on this thing now. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this. Good thing I soldered it up. And then I'm gonna get the body put on it, which this one should be the red body. And And then I'm going to grab the EXB and we're going to put that up here. Be right back. All right, so here's the EXB version. So we're going to get this one ready. Now, this one has a Mamba Monster X 8S in here. Game Changer fans. And it has a Game Changer regulator on it. And I can tell it's an EXB because the chassis in the back says EXB. Right here in the front says EXB by the steering. So, this one, let's pop this wheel off and check these. And you can tell it's got the big arms. Now, I put the regular steering links on this. This has the smaller steering links because the bigger steering links had nothing but slop in them. And I have the 6-pack tires on this. The Duratrack 6-pack. And as you see, the upper is loose again. The caps are glued, so there's very little slop in and out. But I noticed that these things start to unscrew. So no matter what you do, you have pivot ball issues. When the caps don't come out, the pivot balls themselves start to fall out. And you have to pick up the arm to tighten them, which really sucks. So I'm going to make sure that the caps didn't come unscrewed, even though I glued them. Oh, look at that. The glue didn't hold. That one's fallen out. Got to make sure it turns afterwards. You can see all the glue, the dry glue. So now I got to clean these and re-glue these. And this is an every time I run occurrence with this thing. If I don't check these things, they literally will fall off mid-run. Whether it unscrews the whole arm or the pivot ball cap comes loose and it falls off. It's kind of like the tire glue situation as well. And even if you buy the aftermarket like M2 seat caps and that kind of stuff, the O-rings go bad in them. So for me, it just wasn't worth spending the money on them. Like, they're good at first, and you can see the glue trail that I have here from gluing it last time. Insta-set, some glue. And this is an always occurrence with all your RCs. Now the Duratrack tires, they don't crack and fall apart like the factory tires, the rubber on them. They do get hard, but they just don't fall apart. like whatever rubber ARRMA is using. Seems like whatever rubber they're using, the oils dry out really quick. So now I'm going to flip it around. But this is what I have to do every time. And even though you have the RC and you put it away in good working order, doesn't mean it's going to be in good working order 3 months from the time you run it. And I've learned over the year or so of messing with this thing that, see, look at that. Cap is literally falling off. It's one thing I just don't like about the ARRMA rigs, and now I'm finding that even storing them and not running them, I have to spend, that one's okay, I have to spend time and money replacing out rubber items on them. Look at that. All the slop that the EXB had is something I didn't like on the EXB model. Sometimes those will come loose too, for the pins. And that's what I do to get my ARRMA 8S line ready. And I do it because I like the rig. I like the 8S rig. I'm not a big Creighton fan, but I am a fan of the Outcast. And because I like the way it performs, I take the time to make sure that they're maintained. And I try to keep up with them. It just sucks to have to spend money on an RC when you're not running it. I mean, if I were running it daily, and I like my Traxxas X-Maxes, even though I don't run those things, I don't have a lot of issues when I take them off the shelf and I go run them. I gotta glue the tires and just overlook it. But like all the suspension and all that stuff, I don't have issues with them anymore. So But I found that the ARRMA rigs I do have issues with. So hopefully this helps some people. I need to check the fans, make sure that my fans are still working. Voltage regulator should kick the fans on. Game changer fans. Last year lifetime. Game changer voltage regulator. Right down in there. Look at that. Broke my nail. Game changer voltage regulator. Game changer fan. Game changer dual fans with the screen guards. Will they outlast the Outcast? Time will tell. Because the worst thing is to get out there and have a fan bound up because it got junk in it. But I did blow them out. I'll check the pinion on this one as well. It does have red Loctite on it. It's tight. And hopefully it won't have any issues when I take them out, since I went over them. I mean, they still could, you know, some issue can pop up, but for the most part, oh man, that tire, it needs to be glued. Should have checked it while it was off. Look at this. The whole thing is deep beaded. So I have to check all these tires. You can see I've glued them over and over and over again. So this one is not even attached. Pouring in the glue. We'll let this one set up. And this is why I go through so much glue on the channel. Seems like it's just that one wheel. So we're gonna let that dry up. And that's what I do before running my Creightons. I don't really mind the tires because that seems to be, no matter what brand RC, tires always seem to be an issue. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch the next video of me running the EXB Outcast and the ready to run Outcast. Both with Coke can motors in them. One with a Mamba Monster X8S, the other one with the Max 5. We're going to see how these things perform after sitting on the shelf for 3 months. Thanks for watching.